వినపడలేదా ఇప్పుడు మన
దానికి ఏం నాకు చెప్పలేదు టైం నుంచి
నిన్న మాట్లాడి చూసి అవునవును
అందరూ ఇప్పుడు ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అందరూ समझ गया तो चेंज करके रख दे तो मैम after you open the email you would like to welcome or whatever you said for the national government that's what you should first and introduce it yes I am architect Gaurav
लाइव नहीं होगा
Naveen, royalty. Yeah, I want royalty every time I
लिख के लेना
filling the blanks.
See this? These are what we are.
What do you mean by that? My car is outside and I kept my
Just get out and check it that you don't have these proportion issues. Last year corrections. Bad to make them get more interested in the subject.
Is the reason? See, I have taken a 3 photo, but I don't think you have used a photograph.
Maybe.
Have you used only this photograph? Only this photograph has been used, one photograph.
No, 3 photographs used.
We have already in our committee, we have the photograph in the morning where somebody has posted in the morning regarding this.
ఈ కోర్టు యూనిఫామ్ లేకుండా వచ్చిన ఫస్ట్ ఫెలో నేనే. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
వచ్చినట్టే I met. Okay.
टोकरी में भर के रखे थे, बहुत से तो उठाने में रखने में चूरा हो गए थे। वहाँ एक बालकनी थी जहाँ एक बैल का चूरा लगता था। मेरा एक दोस्त था तोता, वो रोज आता था, मैं उसको कहीं मच्छी
ఏం పెరగమంటారు? అడుగుతారు ఏజ్ ఉంది 22 వరకు ఉంది.
one sari material in a month. India, there is a lot of insurance. We had a lot of insurance. So that all changed.
Even if they take more money, they're changing the
Yeah, but they don't make, because see, it's such a slow process now. Even if you sell it for 2 lakh, they can't survive with that money. But that's only one product now for the whole month of work. मका की
अरे ये करने के लिए 40 बैठे हैं। 40 ही है तो एक 10 हाँ सिंगल
He's going to get ready.
Yeah,
You need to inform him and
sure.
once you're ready, once you're ready, press के साथ में
After the president.
ready हो?
अच्छी लगेगी तो हमको हमारा क्या होगा? अब जो शून्य है यार, all have to live up for that.
Ma'am.
I'd stay closer. I said a घंटे के बाद थोड़ा cold है.
Sharmani there.
Go ahead again.
वहीं से आ रहे हम थोड़ी चाय का रखा है आपको चाय भी चाय you can recognize the essence of this is what ಸರ್ ಇರ್ತಾರ ಫೋಟೋ ತೆಗಿತಾರ ఒక ఫోటో వచ్చినా ఓటు మారడా
Hello, check, check. Hello, check. Good evening. Five minutes. Check, check. Good evening, everyone. Please be seated. We'll begin the proceedings in few minutes. Now I request all of you to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Jai Hind. Thank you everyone. Please be seated. Hello, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Vanakkam, Namaskaram and Adab. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Leena Ponnada, MC of this evening. What a privilege and honor to be in such an august gathering. On behalf of IIT Hyderabad Regional Chapter, it's my honor to warmly welcome each one of you to the investiture ceremony of the Managing Committee for the term 2023 to 2025 and the fellowship meet. On this happy note, let us finally begin the spectacular evening, the evening that all of you have been waiting for. I would like to welcome architect Saroj H. Wadia, IIID National President from Mumbai, and architect Shamini Shankar Jain, IIID Honorary Secretary. We also have a special guest, architect Manish Banker, our keynote speaker. We extend a warm welcome you, sir. A big applause for them. Thank you. Dear IID HRC family, 2 years have passed since we assembled for the investiture ceremony of our energetic architect Manoj Wahi, IIID HRC immediate past chairman, and his dynamic managing committee of the term 2021 to 2023. What an eventful, exciting, and engaging 2 years it has been for all of us, from award-winning functions to innovative store launches, I3 and I5 series, 2 movie screenings, international trip to the super hit Insights X 2022. The past 2 years has kept us all connected on our toes. IIT Hyderabad Regional Chapter is without doubt one of the most vibrant and active chapters, thanks to the continuous efforts and participation by each one of you. Let us give ourselves a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very happy and privileged to have among us architect Saroj H. Wadia, IIID National President, who has joined us all the way from Mumbai. I kindly call on stage architect Manoj Wahi, immediate past chairman, IIID HRC, to introduce the chief guest of the evening. Sir, I request you to please join us on the stage. I also request Chairperson IIID HRC, Architect Pallavi Anchuri, to join Architect Manoj Wahi, IIID HRC, past chairman, in felicitating our chief guest. A huge round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. It's a great honor and my privilege to introduce our very dear National President, Architect Saroj Wadia, to all of you. He's an alumni of the School of the Architecture from CEPT Ahmedabad, he trained with Padma Shri architect Professor B.B. Doshi, and also engaged in professional architectural photography for a number of his publications. Saroj's involvement with the IIID started way back in 1999 as the founding vice chairman of the Surat Regional Chapter. The very next year, he took over as the first elected chairman of the Surat chapter and was instrumental in bringing together both the apex bodies of design at the local level. Since then, the IIID and the IIIA at Surat have been working hand in hand, organizing all events irrespective of scale jointly. He then went on to become a member of the National Executive Committee of the IIID from 2002 to 2006, during which time he held the portfolio of the chairman of the Education and Development Committee, responsible for the overall development in interior design education in the country. The committee was instrumental in formulating 3 types of syllabuses for certificate, diploma, and advanced diploma programs. Subsequently, from 2010 onwards, he also held the portfolios of continuous education programs and most recently the Membership and Development Committee. During the term 2015 to 2017, he was the Vice President Associate of the IIID. Sarosh has been very active in the IIIA since 1990, being a founding member of the Surat Center, working his way up to the chairman during the term 2006 to 2008. And subsequently being elected to the IIIA National Council from 2012 to 2021. Actively involved in academics for the past 28 years as a teacher, guide, and jury member, he is currently Professor Design Chair at the Faculty of Architecture, SCET Surat, teaching amongst the core subjects of design studio, energy efficiency in buildings, energy conservation, and intelligent buildings, much before they became areas of interest and concerns globally. A thesis guide to students of architecture and interior design in the South Gujarat region and at CEPT Ahmedabad, Sarosh Wadia is also a member on the board of studies of a few universities in the region. He is the 5th generation partner in Messrs. P.B. Wadia and Sons, which was established way back in 1889. Pioneering designers and builders of Surat, and set up his own design practice in 1988 in Surat. Along with his wife, architect Azmi Wadia, who's also here with us today, their firm has worked on a range of architecture and interior projects including academic, healthcare, and religious institutions, and also a number of Jain and Parsi fire temples. They have also worked on numerous conservation and renovation projects including the Saraswati Mandir, the Dhyan Mandir of the famous poet Kavi Narmad, and were also involved jointly with the PHC, the People for Heritage Concern, in the first phase of conservation and adaptive reuse of the castle at Chowk, Surat. Sarosh is a hands-on person and enjoys repairing anything from calculators to cars in his free time. An avid photographer, he immensely enjoys listening to music and plays a number of instruments too. So a big round of applause for a very dynamic, young, energetic, multifaceted National President, who I'm very sure during his tenure is going to take IIT to greater heights, and I think he's got a very long vision, because you see from where he comes. He comes from the time when most of us were not even born in this auditorium. Obviously, I was like 30 years old then. So, but I'm sure Sir brings a lot of passion, and I think that passion has driven IIT to what it is today, and we look forward to seeing the glory of IIT going to next level. Thank you, sir, for being, able to come in spite of your little health issue and in spite of you turning another year older yesterday, and you are celebrating your next day with us. I think it's an immense gratitude on our part to have you here with us. And also, Ma'am Azmi Wadia, who's accompanied sir and been so kind to, accept our invite. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a fantastic introduction. A big applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a privilege to have with us the guest of honor of today's evening, Architect Shamini Shankar Jain, IIIT Honorary Secretary. To introduce our guest of honor, I will call upon stage Architect Sushmita Subudhi, Co-op Member, Iiid-Hrc.
A very good evening once again. Thanks a lot, Leena. It is an absolute pleasure and privilege to introduce IID Honorary Secretary, Architect Shamini Shankar Jain. Shamini Shankar Jain graduated from CEPT Ahmedabad and co-founded her practice, SS plus PD Architects in Jaipur, with architect Pranay Deep in 1987. She is presently National Honorary Secretary of IIID. She has also served as the National Editor of IID's magazines, both Insight and Inscape, for the previous 3 terms. Shamini has varied body of architectural projects under SS plus PD Architects, ranging from residential, institutional, hospitality, and industrial, amongst others. Apart from these, her special projects are home for high-worth individuals who are transitioning to healthier and stress-free lifestyles. She adopts a humanistic approach to design with keen attention to architectural detailing. Her studio is a veritable classroom that promotes her design philosophy of spirit, of place, and culture. Her studio, SS plus PD Architects, engages with projects that lend itself to social work through design. She has worked with housing for HIV orphans, specially abled children, schools within slum settlements, and animal welfare projects. Beyond the realm of design, she was a founding member of Big Bin Project, an initiative to educate people in keeping clean environment through sustained garbage collection initiatives. She joined a group of volunteers, Rang De, an initiative that painted dead tree trunks, involving stakeholders, an eco-friendly way to beautify a city. She is a visiting faculty and has been a member of design juries across the country, across education. She is on the board of directors, Eminent Girls College, and Vatsale Legacy Preschool Education for Toddlers. She is on the National Executive of Wiki Architecture Council and has founded the Rajasthan chapter. She is on the Executive Council of IGBC Rajasthan chapter. So put your hands together to welcome the IID Honorary Secretary, Architect Shamini Shankar Jain. It's an absolute privilege to have you here. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Oh, wow. It's a great honor to have you, madam. A big applause for them. So, ladies and gentlemen, now on this note, it's my privilege to invite on stage Architect Manoj Wahi, Iiid-Hrc, past immediate chairman, to bid farewell to his managing committee term 2021 to 2023.
So I think one last time I'm going to bore you. So just bear with me for the next 7 to 8 minutes. And this is something which, I cannot thank enough. This last 2 years has been one of the most incredible years of my life thus far. And I think I owe this entirely to IIID and to the Iiid-Hrc family. So it has been such an overwhelming experience where I got such lovely people around me to form the managing committee. Some of them, in fact, 50% of them are first-timers in the AMC, and I think everyone was a little skeptical after the 2 years of pandemic, how we would have performed. But I think each one of them deserves multiple rounds of applause for all that they have done just to make sure that the flag of Iiid-Hrc has gone next level, and I entirely owe this entire thing to them, and also, to be very honest, to the entire IID family at the center and the chairpersons across India. I think for the first time, we got an opportunity to interact with so many chairpersons, one after the other, and keep getting inspired from what these people have been doing selflessly, tirelessly, committedly across the entire nation. I think that bond of IID somewhere connects each one of us, in a very invisible way, and we all look up to make sure that we are doing our best to contribute to the design profession, whether it's for the professional fraternity, whether it's for the trade, whether it's for the students, or maybe the public at large. Like Nasik has done a wonderful Rang Day, then Bharuch did a wonderful Rang Day, Sandhya did a wonderful connect with the education, educating girl students. So I think this has been a fantastic round for IID, and I think IID deserves a big round of applause for, bringing and connecting all the dots together. And I'm sure Iiid-Hrc couldn't have done this better without the people who have been just behind me, supporting me, in fact, leading me to perform. So if I've done something, I think it's only because of their energies which collected together and, made the best use of our 2 years. I would like to start calling the names of all my members who've been with me. I'll start from our immediate past chairperson, architect B. Nandkumar. Big round of applause. He's been one of the most sporting chairpersons. And next, I would like to invite our our current chairperson, who was my chairperson-elect, architect Pallavi Anchuri. I would then like to invite our honorary secretary, architect N. Praveen Kumar, followed by our vice chairman, trade, Jalil Bhai, followed by Joint Honorary Secretary, Architect Naveen Chalsani, our IID Treasurer, Architect Rakesh Vasu. Keep coming. Then we had the Managing Committee member, N. Subbarao, Architect N. Subbarao, Managing Committee member, Architect Gaurav Prasad, Managing Committee member, Sanjana Shah, Managing Committee member, Mohammad Usman Sharif, co-op member, in fact, he was the first co-op member from corporate, co-op member, the backbone of our education initiatives, Architect Sushmita Subudhi. And along with them, I would also like to invite my term advisors who've been, so passionately working alongside me and guiding me through the entire term. So unfortunately, our senior most term advisor, Architect Yashwant Ram Murthy, has had a bereavement because of which he would not be able to join us. So we'll miss him today, but I would then want to request our very senior trade member, Shabir Bhai from Taz Hardware. He's been our back support. Then I would like to invite our immediate past chair and former NEC member, Architect Aparna Bidarkar. And the last of my advisory has been Architect Nirup Kumar Reddy. Unfortunately, he was also not able to join because he is currently in an event in Mumbai. So these are the people who actually performed under Manoj, and I've got all the claps. So you should all have a big round of applause for all of these people. I think they deserve a very big round of applause. And as a token, maybe this is too small. There is no way I can thank them enough. I think it's too small what I'm trying to just give them, but something from which they would remember this term as well. I would want them to just, yes, yeah, and I'm so sorry, we just forget them. But I think they are the lubes of the engine, without which the machinery of IID does not work. So we have our very young and dynamic Srinath Reddy, who's our chapter executive. He is the guy who makes sure that IID is just rolling and everything is happening perfectly. And along with him, we have Jabbar Bhai, who takes care of all the accounts, makes sure the HO is very happy with all our reports, all our bills, all our invoices. So these two people have been working silently, so silently that sometimes we forget them at stage. So please. Now I would just request if I can just hand over So just keep done. And to be very, very honest, there are two people in this room and one who is missing this evening, my lovely wife, Archana Wahi. She's been an immense support because I couldn't have done this without her taking care of everything else. And my lovely daughters, Anya, who's right now in Bangalore, couldn't make it, and Ananya. They've also, they've chipped in, they've worked hard, they've, criticized me, they've been my critiques, they've been my backbones. And definitely my three partners at Designer Web, the co-founders of Designer Web, who I had already told that I'm going to resign for the next 2 years. So you guys take care of the practice, and I'm going to be back from next week. So thank you to architect Yogendra Srivastav, thank you to architect Rohit Rajpal and architect Vyom Sinha for, bearing up with my non-being part of the 2 years of practice, but I'm sure I'm going to cover up for that. So thank you, and thank you to each and every one of you, especially the term sponsors who've made all our events successful, to all the members who've always been there on time, before time, supporting, calling. I think it's lovely to see all of you. Thank you so much. Nandu? This is something like the clockwork, right? We all know how clockworks work. So you just turn the wheel and everything turns, and that's what it signifies. Super. Thank you.
Everybody needs to show it. Connecting dots is linked like this. Connecting dots and link
And to my advisors.
Thank you, man.
आप लोगों ने दिया मेरे को। तुम आओ 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 अरे यार सीना तुम अपना ही नहीं ले रहे
मिडल मिडल
सीना आओ जबर भाई फोटो निकालो
Take yours. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you all of you. Kindly be seated.
Thank you for the jewelry box, Manoj.
Ladies and gentlemen, now I request past chairperson Iiid-Hrc and former NAC member of Iiid-Architect Aparna Bidarkar to join us on stage to introduce the incoming chairperson of Iiid-Hrc with a huge round of applause. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and a special good evening to our President, Honorary Secretary Azmi, Manish Banker, and Rachna too. I hope Hyderabad is treating you very well. A warm welcome to you again. Who does not know the current chairperson now? Architect Pallavi Anchuri. So Pallavi, you need no introduction. However, no IID event began without her leading the national anthem for so many years. Her work to come to the leadership role began many, many years ago. I think she took her membership in the year 2000 when Hyderabad was hosting for the first time the NatCon. Hyderabad greatly looks forward to, Sarojji, to get the NatCon here again. She is a very simple, humble, easygoing, ever-learning, always approachable. Tell me if even a single word is out of place here. Do you want to add any more adjectives? Please, you are welcome. I think this sums her nature, because I have seen her silently working. When I think Ravi was the chairperson, I was working as the honorary secretary. Not just then, even before that, when Ravi was also an office bearer, I guess her training began in her home when she was doing a lot of back-end work. So years and years of training has gone, and Pallavi, many congratulations that you have come this far, and I'm sure you'll take the chapter to the next level. I'd like to do the formal introduction for the information of all the members here. She completed her bachelor's degree in architecture from COETA, a post-graduation in landscape designing from NEC Hyderabad in the year 2000. Never ceases to be a student because she displays that in her attitude of being a learner always. So she joined Masters in Architecture for Interior Design when she was the treasurer with me during our tenure in 2017-19. She has been practicing with, we all know, her other half, Engineer Ravi Anchuri, for over 23 years now. She's an associate professor and a guest lecturer in various architecture colleges. She's been actively participating all the cultural events. I also remember the first Jalsa that we had when Sona was the honorary secretary, and I think we started at that time. Anchuri Design World is the name of their firm. They do work under residential sector, designing bungalows, farmhouses, public spaces and commercial spaces, corporate offices, banks, convention centers. You can spot them on the Google map, the convention centers that they are currently doing in and around Hyderabad. The exhibition halls, office spaces. They've also done research center and healthcare, Aurobindo Pharma, Piramal, Wokhart hospitals, clinics, and other hospitals. She's a life member in IIID. She was the joint honorary secretary in 2014, then the honorary treasurer in 2017-19 along with me. She served as the honorary secretary to Architect Nandakumar during his term. That was a very, very challenging term, as half of the term, I think in mid of the term, the COVID happened, and then they had to do a lot online. So a lot of work for the honorary secretary behind the scenes along with the chairperson. She's been the chairperson-elect along with Architect Manoj Vahi. Relentless, ever giving, offering help. I think everyone will acknowledge that. They have a lot of accolades and awards to their credit. So Indian Red Cross Society conferred a Women Excellence Award to her in 2022. TV5 Award 2019 for Public Space category. Rashtriya Gaurav Award Winter Edition 2019. Halfley Awards runner-up in residential spaces. Only recently, I think up to last week, they have been published in the HETIC book of, I think the yearbook of designers. So we welcome you, Pallavi, with all of this and so much of experience on your back. We really look forward to a great term. A small, melodious way to welcome you and join me on stage. रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बहार के. Very, very warm welcome to you. And I have a special request. Her favorite song, Itni Shakti Hame Dena Data. I would like you to start with that and then I'll leave the stage for you.
Thank you so much for wonderful.
Please.
Okay. Okay. इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना, हम चले नेक रास्ते पे हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना, इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना. Thank you very much.
That sets the tone and intention for the entire team now that's going to serve.
Thank you very much, Aparna, for wonderful introduction. Good evening, all. It's my pleasure to announce you my incoming managing team. Can I have a PPT? So that's me. He's the powerhouse of Iiid-Hrc, full of energy. He does his work with complete dedication and commitment. Co-founder of Designer Wave and Architectural Interior Exhibition, and he is a visiting faculty for architecture colleges. He is none other than architect Manoj Wahi for you. A calm and a humble person with perfection and dedicated towards his work. Founder of True Design Planners. In 2004, the company portfolio includes immense experience in residences, corporate office, commercial space, and super specialty hospitals. He has also been an active core committee member and participant of Iiid Hyderabad chapter since 2008, working his way through the post honorary treasurer and honorary secretary. Please welcome Chairperson-elect Architect N. Praveen Kumar. He comes from a family of entrepreneurs who are into manufacturing over the 60 years. They are one of the oldest families in Hyderabad for more than 150 years. Sandeep founded Liberty 21. Join me to welcome Mr. Sandeep Jain, Vice Chairperson Trade. Passed out from SPA JNTU in batch 2006 and started his practice under the firm name Navin Architects, a principal architect. He did his master from JNIS. Please welcome Honorary Secretary Architect Naveen Kumar Chalsani. She is a practicing architect and interior designer. She graduated from JNFAU Hyderabad and did masters in interior design from CSIT. She is the co-founder of principal architect of her firm Artists, and which started in the year 2004 along with her partner architect G. Ram Mohan Reddy. She served on various posts from 2014 to 2021 in Iiid-Hrc. Please welcome Honorary Joint Secretary Architect Amita Raj. Grew up in the dorms and on the campus of HPS Begumpet during his school days. He got his bachelor's degree in architecture from JNTU in 1996 and master's degree from CSIT. He joined Iiid by becoming a member in 2012. Active participation since 2016 in the showcase got him to be an insider at Insider X as well as MC. Please welcome Honorary Treasurer Architect Rakesh Vasu. He is an architect and bioclimatic designer who is involved in various environment-friendly and green building activities. A team player with excellent communication skills and academic qualification, Gaurav has a double master's in architecture from London and CSIT. Please welcome our MC member, Architect Gaurav Pasha. She lives her life by simple but powerful motto, work hard and success will come to your way. Please welcome our MC member Iiid-Hrc. He is Executive Director of Futnani Steel Private Limited, has experienced more than 24 years in steel pipe industry. Please welcome MC member Mr. Manish Futnani. A postgraduate in interior design and a bachelor's in architecture, along with his two friends and classmates, founded the firm Finger 6 in 2002. Please welcome MC member, architect N. Subbarao. A graduate from Ajay Binay Institute of Technology, Cuttack, and Masters in Interior Design from JNTU, Hyderabad. She began her teaching career in CSIT 2003. Please welcome our MC member, architect Sushmita Subudhi. So here is my team. HRC is blessed with our dynamic past chairs who are mentor for this term. I request all past chairs to join me on stage. I'm sure that with support of my super active managing committee and my dear members, will take Iiid-Hrc to the greater heights. Thank you very much.
Label pins. Now only you write this. And label
What the writing?
now only, yeah. Ask them to come back.
Can I just announce all the managing committee members, 23-25? I request the managing committee members, 23-25, to please come on stage. Architect Praveen Mune.
I request President to please come on stage.
I request IID President, Architect Sarosh Wadia sir, to please come on stage and do the needful about the labeling of the pins. And also the oath for the oath taking ceremony and the labeling of the pins. I'm sorry. You have to sign on the paper.
Yeah, the right side later. Yeah.
So I have to assist it. That's nice.
Where the label?
Yeah, there. One is for
No. MC, please. You have to announce. You have announced this.
Now it's time to oath taking by new MC with the president and pinning of lapel pins by presidents. Now I'd like to invite on stage the managing committee for 2023 to 2025. Architect Pallavi Anjuri, anyhow the ma'am is here, and Architect Manoj Wahi, immediate past chairman, and Architect N. Praveen Kumar, chairman-elect. Mr. Sandeep Jain, vice chairman trade. Architect Naveen Kumar Chalasani, honorary secretary.
stand in solidarity.
Architect Rakesh Vasu, CS, Honorary Treasurer. Architect Amita Raj, Joint Honorary Secretary. Architect Gaurav Parshad, MC Member. Ms. Zeenat Hirani, MC Member. Mr. Manish Putnani, MC Member. Architect N. Venkat Subbarao, Co-op Member. Architect Sushmita Subodhi, Co-op Member. Thank you all. Give them a huge round of applause.
Good evening, Hyderabad. This is a very joyous occasion when a team is handing over a baton to the other team. Like I wanted since a long time, it has been a seamless kind of a journey. I think till the last moment, the previous team has worked, the last event being a very interesting one of Nashik coming over here and Hyderabad going to Nashik, and it has been a seamless kind of a transfer. So this is what I wanted, and the pin and the oath taking is just to reiterate the whole fact that these people are going to be there for Hyderabad now, and this oath will be on their table with their signatures and mine, which will remind them, at least for the next term, that what they're saying in the oath has to be done. So that is the whole gist of the whole thing. So I actually wanted to begin it with the pinning, because that adorning of the pin will mean that they've accepted what is coming next. So could we begin the pinning?
You want the pin?
Yeah, first the pin. Rakesh, Gaurav. Yep.
Let's clap for them.
सुष्मिता का भी ले लो बेटा, दे दे तू सर को जाके सुष्मिता का दो ना, सुष्मिता को दे दो, सुष्मिता को दे दो, बाकी सब दे।
This is mine.
So now they've adorned the pen, so they've accepted the responsibility, and now comes the oath. Now this oath is there because just like I said, to remind them of the responsibility they are taking, and it is going to last for the whole term. So you kindly repeat after me. I, your name please, elected as the Managing Committee member of Hyderabad Regional Chapter, solemnly swear to faithfully execute my duties as a Managing Committee member of this association. I accept this honorary role with a deep sense of responsibility, committed to the welfare of our local members. As a responsible member of the Managing Committee and IIID, I shall uphold and protect the IIID Constitution and bylaws, of the organization, to keep faith and put into practice the noble and good conduct of Interior Designers Code of Ethics. I shall abide by the laws and the legal order of my country, to conduct myself in a manner befitting a good and true professional, so as to bring honor and prestige to the organization. I shall work towards strengthening the purpose of the organization and advancing the interest of profession to which we are dedicated. I take this pledge without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Thank you. Now you are inducted formally into the Managing Committee. So give them a big hand. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you want to sign it, then I'll sign at the top in the evening. Yeah, yeah.
All of you can collect.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor and privilege to stand before you as the chairperson of Iiid-Hrc for the term 2023-25. We are honored by presence of our chief guest, architect Saroj Wadia, IID president, and guest of honor, architect Shamini Shankar Jain, IID honorary secretary. I would like to extend my warmest welcome to our keynote speaker, architect Manish Bankar. I extend my heartfelt welcome to our past chairs, members, and guests. Thank you for gracing this occasion with your presence. Iiid-Hrc has completed 25 glorious years of legacy under the leadership of our dynamic past chairs. Today, I stand very humbled and privileged in front of you to take it forward the legacy and synergy created by them. It is a great responsibility, and I hope that I will live up to it. Let me present to you the vision statement of IID, that is design synergy. Design synergy in the field of interior design is the collaborative and harmonious integration of various elements, principles, and professionals to create cohesive and exceptional teamwork. Synergies with institutions, multidisciplinaries, and different level of societies come together to work seamlessly to achieve one vision. I am confident that my committee and support from our members will synergize and work towards the betterment and take Iiid-Hrc to the greater heights. Now I would like to take you through the vision of our team. Engage, inspire, and connect. Engaging the designer members in the various activities like fellowship meet, I5 series, walk and talk, and so on. Inspire, where this creates a common platform for the students to connect with the working professional and gain practical knowledge. Connect. This element is equally important for us designers to connect with the traders to understand and keep up the new technology in the market. Now I will present to you the events that we have been conducting in the past terms and continuing this term too. Fellowship Meet. It is a showcase of speakers' work with their success stories and generating fellowship members sharing their interaction of speakers' works and ideologies. I5 series. This is an event where 5 speakers who are unique in their own style, and we try to integrate with the different age groups, different style of work, like senior designer, young designer, artists who share their works and journeys. I3 series and Industry Corner. This is an event for the students of architecture and design colleges, where we designer members share their professional journey and showcase their design works with the students and interact with them. Store launch. We club the store launch along with a knowledge talk by an expert who is related to the purpose of this store. CP, an event where the members are given technical knowledge about the product, technology, and advanced system. This is a very special type of event that can be hybrid mode, that is online and offline. Movie screening, a stress buster event where movie or documentary screening about the great architects are shown to members and students. Insider Quarterly Magazine, sharing the information and event details about the chapter and technical information with IID members. Showcase Insider X is the uniquely tailor-made that coverage all the verticals of the industry on a single platform. Iiid-Hrc Excellent Design Awards. Awards in Excellence in Interior Design from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. This is one of the signature event what we conduct from Iiid-Hrc. Foundation Day Jalsa. Jalsa over sports, activities, and cultural involving family members of IID. Sports like badminton, TT, cricket for men and women, and cultural like dance, theme shows involving all age groups and genders. Student workshops. Architects and designers, mentors, the students can be works on the workshop from service industry to enhance the students' technical know and how. Visit to craft clusters to understand the local culture, art lifestyle, and exchange knowledge between artisans and designers of Iiid-Hrc. We conduct study tours to understand the local culture, the same, like it can be in India or abroad. Last time we had visited Dubai Expo. Design Heritage Walk, to know more about our history and the ancestry that binds us together, and at the same time bring the integral part of our present and our future. We also trying to conduct yoga day for a healthy and fun experience to take a day out from a busy schedule and look at our self-health and maintain good health. chapter exchange program. Recently, we had conducted, Nasik team had visited Hyderabad for a chapter exchange. It was a combined event for 3 days, integrated with design walks, heritage walk, fellowship meet, traders meet. These meets ensure a better connect with our trade members. Iiid quiz, an interesting learning event where students team up with the professionals and play the quiz. Outreach program to connect the nearby our chapters and centers. Apart from this, I would like to introduce to few events and objectives that we are planning. Launch of the Iiid app, which will be one-stop solution and common platform for the designers and members to increase the digital connect among us. Hands-on workshop, all with local craftsmen and students to experience the traditional ways of building. Walk and talk, an interesting way of engaging the members to walk in a building done by prominent designers and understand the different point of view. Social awareness, to encourage students and members by joining hands together for a social cause. For example, recently we had visited the Bansilal Pet Step Well that was conserved and renovated very beautifully, where we understood the process of conserving the old heritage structure. Membership growth. Conduct membership drives in various architecture and design colleges to spread awareness and encourage them to join Iiid through the various workshop, talks, and seminars. I would like to end this presentation by saying that this is a great responsibility on me to take forward the legacy and of Hyderabad Iiid-Hrc, Hyderabad Regional Chapter, and set a high benchmark. I would like to thank my family, my husband, my kids, who support me no matter what. Lastly, I encourage you to explore the opportunities out there to engage with our vibrant community and keep pushing the boundaries what possible in this fraternity while working towards the betterment of design. Thank you once again, and let us continue journey together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your brilliant vision. We all look forward to a very engaging and exciting term. A huge round of applause to ma'am and her team. A glittering evening such as this wouldn't have been possible without the support of our sponsors. On behalf of Iiid-Hrc, it's my privilege to thank all our sponsors for continuous patronage. First, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Umesh and Mr. Narendra from Artistics to share insights of their offerings. Give them a big applause to welcome them. So AV, please. Artistics AV. Wow, that was a beautiful presentation. For this, now I would like to invite on stage Architect Rakesh Vasu, CS, Iiid-Hrc Honorary Treasurer, and Mr. Sandeep Jain, Vice Chairman Trade, Iiid-Hrc, and also Architect Amita Raj, Joint Honorary Secretary, Iiid-Hrc, to felicitate or sponsors the artistic team. That's the artistic team. Give them a huge round of applause. Our sponsors, our first sponsors. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now it's time to felicitate our chief guest, Architect Saroj H. Wadia, Iiid National President from Mumbai. For this, I call upon stage Architect Manoj Wahi, Chairman, past Chairman, and Architect Pallavi Anchuri, Chairperson, to please come on stage and felicitate our President. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now it's time to felicitate our guest of honor, Architect Shamini Shankar Jain, Iiid National Honorary Secretary. For this, I'd like to invite on the stage, ma'am, you have to be here only, Pallavi Anchuri, ma'am, and Mr. Naveen Chalasani Garu. So now it's time to invite our next sponsors. So first I would like to invite on stage Mr. Mayank from Beyond Lighting to share insights of their offerings. Mr. Mayank on stage, please, with your huge round of applause for their presentation.
Hello everyone. I'm Mayank Minda, one of the directors of Beyond Lights here. I hope you all enjoyed the video. It was a short glimpse of what we do, which is everything in lighting. So as you can see, over the years, we have established working with some of the best lighting companies in and around the world. So Beyond was started as a dream in 2013 by my dad, Ashok Minda, and my uncle, Narsingrao Desai. And today, everything that we do is a great learning from all of their experiences. So we offer over 15 to 20 brands in our basket, some of which are mentioned here. Our goal is to provide a good mix of Indian and European options, which does justice to the project and as well as to the client's pocket, of course. So we provide lighting design as a value-added service, and this is the procedure that we adopt. So basically, we start with taking the plan, taking the AutoCAD file, and understanding the concept of the architecture and the interior from the principals, and designing the space accordingly. Secondly, we present the render plan, which looks something like that. We generate this in order to help the client understand better the different layers of lighting that we have planned in the space. And thirdly, we plan the lighting legend, the lighting fixture schedule, like how we call it. This is generally, mainly it is generated for the site supervisors. Sorry. Yeah, so that's mainly generated for the site supervisors and electricians to avoid confusion and to do the fixing without any hassle on the sites. So some of the examples that how we go about the presentation for the render plan is something like that. So if you can see in the residential space that we have designed here, we showcase what kind of light fixture we are going with, what kind of output it is going to give you with a reference image, the details of the light fixture, and when we go to the next slide, you will see how the other lights are switched on and what is the different kinds of effect that is going to create. So this really gives a very clear understanding to the client, to the architect, to the interior, that what are the different kinds of aspects that we are, keeping in mind before lighting up this space. And of course, each element in every space is designed in a certain way, in a different manner, and that is what we make sure that we, look after. Different services that we offer in Beyond, like I said, everything and anything with respect to lighting. So wall lights, indoor lights, outdoor lights, chandeliers, table and floor lamps, pendants, stretched fabric ceilings, fiber optics. Yeah. So we have worked very hard and gained the trust over the years to have these renowned companies on the Beyond map. Yeah, we have broadly divided our work into residential and commercial, which of course includes indoor, outdoor, facade, decoratives. So when we go to the residential, we have, by the grace of God, have worked with good architect firms in the city and have executed all of these residential projects where few of the projects we have designed, few of the projects we have just executed. Some of the commercial projects that we have worked in the city recently finished Aparna, 17 Degrees North Clubhouse in Mokila. One of the prominent buildings in Kokapet, Rajapushpa, the facade was lit up by us. Tatwa was lit up, all the 3 Tatwas were lit up by us. We did a robot restaurant in Tirupati, which was done with stretch fabric. And if you see the fabric above, it's with the robotic print, so we gave that feel to it. And Deloitte was a critical project and a very challenging one that we did, which you can see we did about 24 meters of curved linears, which does not have any single, breakage. So it's a continuous lighting. We had a big challenge there because many vendors from all around, like big brands like XAL and all of these brands were brought in, but we took up the challenge. We gave them at a cost which was 1/3 and made sure that the specs are matched, most importantly. And 040 was lit up. Yeah, that's what's Beyond us. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
That was lovely presentation, isn't it? Big applause for them. So on this note, I would like to call Architect Manoj Wahi, Iiid-Hrc Chairman, and Architect Praveen Kumar, Chairman, to felicitate our sponsors. So, Architect Manoj Wahi, Iiid-Hrc, past chairman.
I'm chairman-elect.
Thank you. Now time has come to invite our chief guest of the evening on the stage, Architect Sarosh H. Wadia, IIID National President, for the gathering, to address the gathering. Welcome, sir, on the stage.
Good evening, everybody. The past chairman of Hyderabad, I am so glad that you made it convenient to come here. So, what Hyderabad is today has just not happened overnight. The last 25 years has been glittered with a lot of lights which have actually given this to Hyderabad. So I'd like to tell you how it started. It all started on 13th of January 1996. That is Hyderabad's Charter Day. With my good friend S.N. Chawla ji, who's no more. 96 to 98, he was the Iiid-Hrc chairman, and then till 2000 he continued as the elected first chairman. And a wonderful person, very friendly, always cracking a joke whenever I've been with him. And then 2000 to 2002, Kasam Ali ji, who's there with us, I'm very glad that he's there with us, took over. 2002 to 2004, Renu Hassan ji, she just left because she had another function to attend. Very dynamic lady, brought a lot of laurels to Hyderabad. And then came 2004, 2006, Shubhas Narayan. And 2008 to 10, Gururaj Manipalli, he's there today? I think he's there. Oh, thank you for coming. And then 2010 to 2012, my good friend Shantanu Chaudhary, he's out for a function, he's out of town. And then my good friend took over Ravi Anchuri, 2012 to 2014. So all these years have been very dynamic, as dynamic as maybe last two terms also. And 2015 to 2017, my good friend Sona Chatwani. Where is she? Okay. And then 2017 to 19, my good friend Aparna took up, Aparna Vidarkar. And I knew her since she was actually the honorary secretary, and how precisely she actually did her work, I knew from the beginning. And then Nandakumar took on the 2019-21 term, which was one of the most difficult for all our IIID chapters, because it was a term which started well. By March, COVID struck, and then the first phase discontinued, and again we got some momentum in IID. All chapters were again trying to revive, and the second phase struck. So it was a very, very difficult term with Nandakumar sailed through. And then, of course, all that was left behind, that Josh which Nandu brought in, was completed by Manoj Wahi in 2021 to 23. And now it is on Pallavi's shoulders, and she's got strong shoulders to handle it because of the team she has behind. Now, it all started in 1974 when the first member, who is Mr. B. Ram Gopal, took membership. Mr. Ram Gopal took membership on 13th of May, 1974. I'm telling you all this because this also goes along the history. You should never forget that the foundation is strong, and the structure will always remain. And the structure will flourish because the foundation is strong. As designers, we keep changing the superstructure, but the foundation we forget sometimes. So Hyderabad right now has nearly about 626 members, which is a very, very strong and a very, very large chapter. And now let me come to the head office. Okay, what is IID head office taken up this term? So as Pallavi pointed out, design synergy is our theme. And we expect all chapters to follow this design synergy. Now, what is design synergy? Design synergy is two or more organizations working together hand in hand and to achieve something which any one of them couldn't have achieved otherwise. So this is our whole motto this time. We started off very well because as soon as we took over on 11th of November 2022, IIA invited us for the NatCon at Raipur. It has never happened in the history of IID so far. So immediately we got an invitation and we conducted the second NEC parallel to the IIA Council. One hall they were conducting their national council with 35 of them, and in the next hall we are conducting our NEC meeting. And then we followed with, we were invitees to the NatCon. So we have to remember that to invite IIA again whenever there is a NatCon. Okay, and then what happened was we had formed, in the last term, we had formed a group called the Satsang. What is Satsang? Satsang is the coming together of 5 organizations, Iiid-Hrc, IGBC, CREDAI, FSAI, IPA. Now these 5 are our Satsang partners. There are many to join this year, but we were having online functions only because of the COVID. This time we have met already 3 times, and Iiid-Hrc has taken it on their shoulders to hold 5 to 8 quick rounds of actual seminars where all 5 will work together with the local IID chapter. Small or big, they don't really mind, but they've identified 5 places and they are going to conduct seminars and train people in all these 5 specialties which our own members need to learn. And then, of course, our international collaborations have begun. I have already visited ABSTA, and it is actually the head of the chairman of the committee is Mr. Rajiv Nelivittal. He is at Dubai and he controls this. And ABSTA is very dear to us, as well as IGBs, as well as IFI. IFI we had left in 2004, 2006 because of some reasons. They are basically a body of European designers as well as Asian designers coming together. There was a fallout that time, but we have again joined it with full force and we are going ahead with IFI. At present, an Indian is heading it again. After Mr. Nivasakar in 2004-2006, again an Indian is heading it. Of course, she belongs to USA, but she is an Indian. And then the internal collaborations are occurring with this satsang, which Iiid-Hrc is now leading. And then we took it upon ourselves for a very important thing is regulating practice. Now this is a nightmare for all of us designers, especially working in interior design. For architects, there is a protection body, which is the council, which is a big lion, but toothless. Why I'm saying this? Because it protects the title of architect. It doesn't protect the practice. Okay? So we had a debate on 22nd of December 2022. We met in Goa. Unfortunately, all our flights got delayed, and we had to have our 3rd NEC meeting at that time. So our NEC meeting started at 8 o'clock in the night and ended at 4 o'clock in the morning. So what was the discussion? The discussion was that there was a questionnaire given by me on design synergy as well as what can we do to regulate design. How do we regulate our profession? Regulation means that we don't want to bind people, but we at least want people to know what IID designer can give. So for a lot of people said we should join the Council of Architects, or we should get government, we should force government into making another council for interior designers, or we should join the Design India movement. And then what came out as an idea at 3 o'clock in the night was, okay, all these measures have been tried by different bodies. And some have got a little bit of success, some have got no success. So then what to do? So what we have decided is very simple. We self-regulate. Now what is self-regulation? Self-regulation is every chapter center, 33 places, will go to their own local bodies like banks, all corporates, all big bodies, social clubs like Rotary, Lion, and make them aware that there is a body called IIID who is interested in regulation of interior design, and our associate member can perform these many tasks which no other designer can do for you. Similarly, a trade member can give you the back-end service which no other trade member can give. So this is what it is a just simple awareness campaign, because as soon as you make a law in India, there are 100 people to make something happen which the law becomes ineffective. We've seen that happen in our constitution. It's the best constitution in the world, our Indian constitution. But the way it functions is for everybody to see. You can't get a case, a judgment of a case in maybe a year, in 2 years, maybe a generation, maybe 2 generations. Having the best constitution is not the only thing. Having the best council is not the only thing. We have to push it ourselves. So this is what we have taken upon ourselves this day. And that is what we decided on the foundation day of 22nd, 12, 22. So now we are in the 50th year of our being, just like Hyderabad is into 25th year of its being, and celebrating the Golden Jubilee with all chapters and centers supporting very ably. So then we looked back at our office of our assets, and we found in our office really dated systems and computer systems that if the chairman of the membership committee wants to know whether a member has paid fees, he gets an answer after a week. The chairman of the committee. I handled the portfolio for 4 years, so I know how painful that is. You must have also rung up to find out your areas and might have got a reply in 2-3 days. So we needed to set up a system which is more efficient, because just growing in number doesn't matter. It is how you regulate the whole thing. So we had a whiz kid this time in the NEC who got elected from Mumbai, Mr. Mehul Kaundar, and he is resetting all the systems for us in the HO. Now we got absolutely new hardware. Everybody has a latest laptop. All the systems are working. We have rented out the best server also, and we won't have a delay. And the app that Pallavi was talking about, we are launching our own app where all chapters and centers will get access to this. So you don't need to launch your own. You'll be at the national level, and both IFI as well as AppStar can also go through the app and our website. We are actually giving them membership. Just now, IFI has opened its membership to personal members. It's very high cost, $500 a year, but IFI has opened out that membership to personal firms. Okay, so this is what is happening. Similarly, our awards are going to restart in the physical format after a long time. 2 cycles have already passed where we have done it online. We have done it on our own because sponsors never came forward because it is online. But we have had more than 500 entries both times. And we had all the nitty-gritties woven into it, even if it was online. Okay, but this time we are doing it offline. It's in process. October end, we are going to release it, and it is going to be a big thing. Similarly, Yogesh, one of our NEC members, again, is heading Iiid-Hrc. He is the president of Iiid-Hrc. That is how he is helping us in Iiid-Hrc getting satsang actually functioning and not meeting online but offline in cities of different levels. Similarly, our events, now we have separated a committee called events, which will handle NatCon, all Golden Jubilee celebrations, and any chapter which needs help in doing its event, HO will support it through Sunita. She guides, like Lucknow had two programs of exhibition showcase with Khokhani ji, but she was all the time behind them, helping them. Then we have the corporate membership launched again. We were suffering in corporates because at one point in 2014, when I left the membership committee and took up other things in the NEC, we had 55 corporate members. Can you believe it? And just now we had 12. All of them had dwindled away, not paid their dues, or some or the other reason, they were dissatisfied. So then, because Prashant Reddy was already a NEC member and a corporate himself, he had suffered enough. So we said, you take this up. So he suggested methods to pull up the whole thing. And then we decided as a body in the HO that we don't have really staff who's HR trained to even converse with these company heads. You know, you can't tell a MD of Godrej, our clerical staff isn't trained to do it. So just now, Nivedita from Prashant's HR team of Fundamex is actually helping putting corporates in place. We just launched the corporate new scheme in 2 months back. We already grown from 12 to 22. Already grown in 2 categories. So that is also going on. And then the Golden Jubilee Steering Committee we have put up with all the past presidents. All the past presidents have joined the steering committee headed by Jabin, the immediate past president. And this is going to be a celebration this is a celebration throughout the year. Every event is supposed to be in the Golden Jubilee. But we are ending with an event on 21st and 22nd of December in Mumbai. It's a very difficult month in Mumbai because December is the festive season there. But we are still, Mumbai chapter is gearing up towards having this event with the NEC, and that is how we are going ahead. So all this is happening at the center. And Hyderabad, I think, very ably supports everything. Like Pallavi has already in her vision the design synergy. Already there is a lot of UN cry that Hyderabad wants to do the NatCon in this term because of the 25th year. I'm not announcing anything, but Hyderabad stands a very, very good chance. Okay? But I will still like the whole NEC to vote together. Just now in the NEC, we are working on consensus. Everything in the NEC is not like before. There is very, very good conversation about everything. We discuss almost anything. The youngest member in the, I got another thing in the NEC just now is I got 12 new members. From 15, 12 are new members. They have never been in the NEC. So I'm governing a NEC just now with all new ideas. So they have ideas which can be put to use. And each idea is valued, it is discussed, and that is how I've always promised that we'll have a consensus on every activity. Similarly, appointing a city to conduct a NatCon will be through consensus and not through the president's judgment. Because I think I can fail in judgment also. So this is what is happening nationally, and I think we are going on track now after COVID, and this term is going to be wonderful. And with Hyderabad, I'm looking forward to Hyderabad's cooperation in everything that we do. Thank you, Hyderabad.
Thank you so much, sir. A big applause to sir for the most informative future information, past, present, future information for giving us. Thank you so much, sir. So now it's time to conclude our investiture ceremony. Now I'd like to invite our keynote speaker, Mr. Architect Manish Banker, on the stage, please. So introduce our speaker, I would like to invite Mr. Gaurav Parishad, MC member, on the stage, please.
You continue this. I'll wait here.
Of course. You can give this to Steve. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this evening and making it all the more special for all of us. It is my absolute honor to be introducing to you our keynote speaker of the evening, Architect Manish Banker. Architect Manish graduated in architecture from the Institute of Environmental Design, Vallabh Vidyanagar in Gujarat, in the year 1991. Through his research thesis on subject organic architecture, he studied works and writings of Frank Lloyd Wright. During his thesis and case studies, he could spend some valuable time and interactions with architect Nari Gandhi as his mentor. Immediately after his graduation, he worked for 2 years as an apprentice and disciple at Osho Commune International, being part of design teams consisting of artists, designers, and engineers from across the globe. Architect Manish has been extensively traveling in India and around the world to explore the world of architecture. You may be interested to know that he loves sketching and photography, which are also his hobbies to study and capture various built environments. He established his practice, Tau Architecture Private Limited, with his first private residential project called Anand Villa in 1995. Presently, Tau has a team of 30 professionals and is well supported by Associate Architect Kavish Sheikh, Interior Designer Vishwajit Koregav, and Managing Director Mr. Motilal Banker. For his works in architecture and interior design, his team at Tau has achieved some prestigious recognitions from various institutions including AESA, IIID, Builders Association of India, Asia Pacific Property Artists in Concrete, and All India Stone Architectural Awards. Architect Manish loves to share his passion for architecture with his colleagues, clients, contractors, fellow architects, designers, and students. He has been kind enough to accept our invitation to join us here today, and he's here to share a brief presentation focusing on the subject, interiority of interiors. It is my privilege to call him on stage and hand over the dais to him. A big round of applause to Architect Manish Banker.
Thank you, Gaurav, for stretching a good introduction. Good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure, rather, to see many familiar faces, here. Especially Saroj, Azmi, Ravi, Pallavi, Manoj, and I've been meeting them. And let me tell you that Iiid is kind of a family which I have also grown along. Since the NetCon, I participated for the first time in Indore. And then the Design Yatra, around which we moved the entire India. And I came across so many friends. And I feel so honored, to see that every city has some other friend now to go and just simply connect. And I find that the Iiid family is nationwide. And the way today I saw the installation, I must congratulate Pallavi to be, today on the stage for taking responsibilities and oath, which is so overwhelming that the professionals coming out of their own practice and taking a full charge of the responsibility, which is I find is something very, very special, and I must clap every time. I would think, and the way I have seen Ravi and Manoj being participating in many events all across India. So anyway, this is something which I was so glad to see the installation. I congratulate the entire team who performed for the last term and now the new team which is going to take over.
Great. So anyway, I'm here today to somehow share something what I think, we are all friends, other fellow travelers, about design fraternity, what all we basically share among ourselves. So more than the work, I always like to, somehow express what I've been going through. I mean, see, our practice is a kind of a, one process, but along with that, we as professionals keep on growing. And every thing, whatever we do as designers, have something other to gain, at the backside. And like for instance, our interior design, as I see the interiority of interior design is what? I mean, okay, everybody knows interior is a lot more superficial, okay? I mean, people appreciate interior designers because their way of seeing things is just mostly visual. We, as designers, have a lot more to go through. Like I see, they have a lot more, aspects which we dig out and get into the subject. And it's very difficult to share among clients and vendors. But today I thought, let me share among our own fellow travelers, who I'm sure that everybody is also in a kind of a same boat, passing through the way we travel along. So I think there are many aspects, like for instance, when you go beyond visual, which are more of superficial, when you go a little deeper, then psychological aspects are considered. The emotional aspects are considered. Nowadays, the rituals have come into the place, the way people consider Vastu and, the various other norms which help us or may to guide us or somehow put us in a whatever way to pass on our design ideas in order to serve a better spaces for people to actually either work, live, or be part of it. And I see there are various other aspects which also take care of, that is like in the functional, there are various technical aspects, there are economical aspects, and there are poetic aspects, and there are local body aspects, there are global aspects which keeps on driving us. And I see that there are many of such facets. When we do it, we come up with one solution, but they have so many facets by which you come up, as a solution, or a kind of a process by which you try to give the better solution. And we have many legends living, from whom, as Saroz mentioned, that we are not just of this generation. Like, see, I see that now this is, I don't know how many generations already been working as Iiid chapter. We've been also growing, and architecture and interior design has been evolving since centuries, and we got a culture which is, leading us to come to the today's time, which we call it a contemporary, and we have to leave the baton for the next generation to come. We, in the kind of era where the digitalization happened, the industrialization happened, the whole world has come together, and there is definitely a kind of, at the same time, we have a lot more information, but we also got a kind of a lot more thing to screen while we think of design. It's not that easy now because you have many things to see. Like, people have got a kind of a influence from the West, from the East, from everywhere, and you are left to your own choice of which direction or which way or which a kind of a process you would follow your own path of practice. I would like to share.
मकान की ऊपरी मंजिल पे अब कोई नहीं रहता.
Sorry, I would like to share this.
कमरे बंद हैं.
Maybe you go through this and then we speak.
मकान की ऊपरी मंजिल पे अब कोई नहीं रहता. वो कमरे बंद हैं कब से. जो चौड़ी सीढ़ियां उन तक पहुंचती थीं वो अब ऊपर नहीं जाती. वो जो लकड़ी की बनी हुई सीढ़ी लास्ट ऊपर की मंजिल तक जाती थी, वो अब सीढ़ियां ऊपर नहीं जाती. वहां कमरों में इतना याद है मुझको, खिलौने एक पुरानी टोकरी में भर के रखे थे. बहुत से तो उठाने, फेंकने, रखने में चूरा हो गए थे. वहां एक बालकनी भी थी जहां एक बैंत का झूला लटकता था. मेरा एक दोस्त था तोता, वो रोज आता था, मैं उसको हरी मिर्ची खिलाता था। उसी के सामने छत थी जहां एक मोर बैठा आसमां पर रात भर मीठे सितारे चुगता रहता था। मोर बैठा आसमां पर रात भर मीठे सितारे चुगता रहता था। मेरे बच्चों ने वो देखा नहीं, वो नीचे की मंजिल पे रहते हैं जहां पर पियानो रखा है। पुराने पारसी स्टाइल का फ्रेजर से खरीदा था, मगर कुछ बेसुरी आवाजें करता है कि उसके रीड्स सारी हिल गई हैं, सुरों पर दूसरे सुर चढ़ गए हैं। मगर कुछ बेसुरी आवाजें करता है कि उसकी रीड्स सारी हिल गई हैं, सुरों पर दूसरे सुर चढ़ गए हैं। उसी मंजिल पे एक पुश्तैनी बैठक है, खन्नानी, जहां पर उसी मंजिल पे एक पुश्तैनी बैठक है जहां पुरखों की तस्वीरें टंगी थीं। मैं सीधा करता रहता था, हवा फिर टेढ़ा कर जाती। बहू को मूंछों वाले सारे पुरखे क्लीशे लगते थे। मेरे बच्चों ने आखिर उनको कीलों से उतारा। पुराने न्यूज़पेपर में उन्हें महफूज करके रख दिया था। मेरा एक भांजा ले जाता है फिल्मों में, कभी सेट पर लगाता है, किराया मिलता है उनसे। मेरी मंजिल पे मेरे सामने मेहमान खाना है, द गेस्ट रूम। मेरी मंजिल पे मेरे सामने मेहमान खाना है। मेरे पोते कभी अमेरिका से आए तो रुकते हैं, अलग साइज में आते हैं वो जितनी बार आते हैं, खुदा जाने वही आते हैं या हर बार कोई और आता है। मेरी मंजिल पे मेरे सामने मेहमान खाना है। मेरे पोते कभी अमेरिका से आए तो रुकते हैं, अलग साइज में आते हैं वो जितनी बार आते हैं, खुदा जाने वही आते हैं या हर बार कोई और आता है। वो एक कमरा जो पीछे की तरफ बंद है, जहां बत्ती नहीं जलती, वहां एक रोजरी रखी है, वो उससे महकता है। वहां वो दाई रहती थी कि जिसने तीनों बच्चों को बड़ा करने में अपनी उम्र दे दी थी। और उसके बाद एक दो सीढ़ियां हैं, नीचे तहखाने में जाती हैं, जहां खामोशी रोशन है, सुकून सोया है। बस इतनी सी पहलू में जगह रखकर कि जब मैं सीढ़ियों से नीचे आऊं तो उसी के पहलू में बाजू पे सर रखकर गले लग जाऊं, सो जाऊं, वहीं सो जाऊं। अच्छा, इसमें ऑब्जर्वेशन है, शायद मेरा ख्याल है मैं बहुत आगे निकल गया तो वहां से मुड़ के देख रहा हूं, तो इसलिए उसके अंदर अपनी अच्छी खुशी है और कहीं मज़ा है, कहीं ज़िंदगी का, और जिस तरह के तो एक वो ज़िंदगी का पैटर्न महसूस होता है और एक वो सोसाइटी पता चलती है जिसमें मैं बड़ा हुआ हूँ।
Okay. So, what I understood, like, I don't know, but I have heard Gulzar Saab, personally, and we as designers, look at, and the way he has explained that the interiors, if you really observe what he has noticed, in his narration, that ek dost popat. Now, it's something which, we see interiors as furniture, chairs and wall finishes and ceiling and flooring and all. But those aspects which lead us to really have friends which are living all around our houses or our places wherever we live. And how much do we notice them? How many times do we get information or kind of a space to feed them? Or the sun rising, how many times do we really see that? And I find that the interiors are rather more meant to meet, those aspects which, which should not get lost by having our focused on whatever we build. But whatever we build is something which need to rather help you to connect ourselves, with the nature around. He also mentioned that एक पियानो था और सुरीली तारे थी और तारों के ऊपर दूसरे तारे चढ़ गई. I somehow feel that, he's talking about the generation. We had an old generation and now the new तारे लग गई हैं, the new generation and the new time has come. And we at this stage as designers are also in a way what to serve. Because there are a lot of things which are coming from the cultural background. We got something new coming as the technology and digitalization. And there are new tare, जो पुराने तारों के ऊपर चढ़ गई हैं, and the बेसुरे, kind of an आवाज़ें निकाल रही हैं. I find that these poetic expression of such poets are having many things to narrate and say, and we are lucky that that many such legends are living in our own life, which are holding our own fort of finding roots, which are being carried out, through our own past generations. Like now the Hyderabad chapter has revived the stepwell. I'm so glad, that those things are not getting washed out by having a new high-rise structures or the technological, inventions being made in Hyderabad. But there is, at the same time, I see that the past generation, and what I see, the culture is not, it's something which is constantly evolving and growing. It doesn't die, like for instance, how Iiid chapters giving baton from one end to one to other, chapters. I find that this somehow which is growing. And even interior design as a subject or a practice is also growing in a certain other way. So I see that interiors are a lot more to do with what we are offering as a life to be poured into the life of the people, whosoever is going to actually occupy that spaces. Of course, by putting floors, walls, and ceilings, and lighting, and everything. But how much we are contributing to the cultural, the spiritual, the growth of everybody who is meant, to be human and connect with the nature around. I see that there's so much to grow ourselves and to share and contribute in many ways, which can help all of us to bind together. I would like to just show you a couple of more slides before I get into my work, which I would like to compare, in the world today our practice is like a marathon, okay? But I don't know how many of you know that the pilgrimage which happens in India is a lot more joyous, it's stress-free. If you look at the marathon, the way, the new time has come and pushing us, to practice and to learn the life as if we're going to lose the life. But the kind of, you don't mind pushing somebody who's falling, or is rushing. You will not care much about what you are doing. But today I was very happy to see the kind of a family bonding, among Iidians, and how, the joyously, you all perform, and that leads you to better. Like I see that in the stressful, the faces in the marathon, where in the pilgrimage you see the people so simple, they are not self-conscious. And they're so easy, for them to really go along with everybody. You don't need a numbers, to put yourself with some identity. Your identity is rather, connected with your own self, and you're happily moving with a colorful, and joyous, spirit. And I see that it's something I'm just, I've been thinking that how do we really put this across? And I had put these slides across when I was giving a presentation to the students of architecture in Pune. And I thought it's something which I would like to share, that our practices need to, be a lot more joyous. And it should lack, and ideally in India, we have a concept of pilgrimage. And that's also, the whole life actually itself is a pilgrimage. If you take, in the stride of your own way, with your own passion, and with your own liking, with your own people around, where you feel warm and you grow, all together, where your destination is not so important as much as the journey. And in Pune, I don't know how many, but you know that there is a Palki, which is one of the pilgrimage where people walk for 25 days from one place to other place. Sant Tukaram, had introduced this, and Rachana and myself had walked once, along with the, these people from the village. They come, and the kind of, the unself-conscious way of being into the flow of, the energy which is so divine, and then you become one of them. And that's something which helps us to realize that even anything you do, maybe architecture or design practice or maybe any other professional services you might provide, but that the process is so important that you are one with the divinity. On that basis, that time I was doing this house for one family, they are industrialists. They shifted from a small village called Sangli, which is a few kilometers from Pune, and very beautiful town there, and has a very strong cultural characteristics. This is the photograph of the apartment where I had first time visited. So this is on the 14th floor of a building overlooking to the Pune University, and had a wonderful view, But and then the client, asked me that, okay, I'll have a look at our own past where we are coming from. So this is the place Sangli where they come from. Now, why I'm showing this to you, because it is the way I see that every person, as Gulzar Sahab mentioned, that there is so much depth. A person is not just the physically, seen person, but has a long history where it has come from, the cultural background, the family background, the education and all. All that comes along when you meet a person. And how do you really give them the justice to actually fit that person and not the one who is industrialist, as people know. And I felt that let's infuse, their culture and give them a kind of a bonding with the space which they have grown along during their childhood. So this was the kind of a space which was given to us to look at. It's a nice, penthouse. I would say duplex apartment with about 4,000 square feet on a lower floor and 3,000 square feet on upper floor. And that's kind of 7,000 square feet of the apartment was to be designed. Question is not what number of thousands, but the question was, okay, what they are looking for. What are they actually, trying to find this place as their own home. So how do we convert those concrete space given to us and make them a home which is a continuity of where they come from. And we created a kind of a spaces within the available format of the columns and beams, and we thought of that let's have a certain language set so that it fits into the character which would relate them with their own village where they come from. But at the same time to give them a more convenient and more modern lifestyle to fit in for their next generation to also be part of the home. And we ended up designing the flooring, even the carpets, the soft furnishings, the furniture, and spaces, and we added a curves so that we could somehow create more interesting corners and the surfaces which would bind them together. And as architects, we end up doing a lot of hidden services which puts the interiors lot more simpler at the surface, but has complex services network which goes behind every little project we do. Selection of various aspects like fan, lighting, even the faucets, switchboards, air conditioning, and all those keep on going in, okay. But that is all there to serve the spirit of the space in which, the people would actually find a home. So it was and the whole building is basically for all the luxurious finishes. All the apartments are finished with a very high-end marbles and all. Here we thought we will give them a Kota stone. We create a granite and we give them a kind of a character which would rather relate, with their own ancestors in a place, but converted into a kind of a modern language. They used to live near the water. I said, okay, we can't have water body, but we'll definitely add a little feature which will, flow the water inside the house in a very silent way. So we built a staircase to go up and formed a kind of a steps which would relate, to the temples they would used to visit. The flow of water has been designed so that as soon as you enter, you have one continuous sound of water made out of those copper urlis. And the staircase turned out to be like a symbolic space for a temple. And the client was in love of their space because the couple had a love marriage and they have all those beautiful stories to share, and we wanted to somehow continue having those stories living, into this home. We introduced some of the paintings which got specifically designed for them. And the space, we didn't break, we didn't compartmentalize. So the kitchen, dining, living, formal living, they all became a kind of a one long, large space having the divisions just for the functional utility. Otherwise, and we also segregated the kitchen, which would be mostly used by the workers and their support staff, but their primary kitchen was brought into the common living space which relates with the family, the TV viewing, dining, and their whole activity becomes like a kind of a one long space. And we built a staircase which is kind of hanging from the ceiling. So the whole staircase was very lightly designed with the folded plates, but could somehow, comfortably hang from the double-heighted RCC ceiling there. The puja room, we picked up the same arch which is there in the Sangli, so that the Ganesh temple gets somehow reflected. And it's something which just to create a kind of a visual and connecting, with those elements which they've been growing along. And it's fun to work out some details, when you have a few challenges to face. But the idea was to have folded plates simply hanging from the ceiling, wherein the platform till the mid-landing was created as a solid mass to reflect, those steps, like how you go up on a temple. And the platform used for having a good 10 feet high installation of Radha Krishna, which is symbol of their love story which happened there in the Sangli. And then we also formulated a bed. The divisions between bed and toilets were just simple glass partitions where she can just see through, because they are a long room where on one side they see the sunrise, the other side they see the sunset. And so we didn't want it to cut off, so we kept the partitions which was made in a glass between the bed and toilet, so that they can actually see the sun rising or getting the sun rays coming into the rooms through the toilets, through the screens, and similarly it happens when the sun sets. And the space was quite open. Here you can see how the circles were introduced, even the carpets, some of the internal divisions, so that we could hide some of the odd corners and make them soft corners by introducing the curves. We created a Jharokha at the top so that they can actually enjoy the sunset from this balcony, which is overlooking to the double height space. The hobby room at the top. And see how the space was there and how it turns out to be, when you finish it off. Even we brought the bathtub inside the bedroom so that the son and the newly wedded, the couple could also have a kind of a space overlooking to the huge garden of Pune University. And even the carpets were designed specifically for this house by the name of all the flowers. And so somehow we could get a good range of carpet design with a different nature of flower there. And we felt that they could connect with their thing, So we just run through those photo story with little music there. Yes. And this is the music where people listen when they go through the palki, as a pilgrimage. And we always connect, this family being lot more simple, humble, sincere, and very submissive, to their pattern of life, but very much open, to adopt the new way of living patterns. And they accepted all these ideas of using a kota stone and very natural, simple surfaces. And we could also somehow use some of the crafts in arts which could relate, with our past.
Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari.
भिंत माझी गवताची गवती उपरे, तुझ्यासाठी वीट तरी सावळ्या थांबरी, ओढलेले ह्या धरेवर भेगाळले थोडे, विठ्ठला बालोकनाया पावसाळी सो.
जय जय राम कृष्ण हरी, जय जय राम कृष्ण हरी, जय जय राम कृष्ण हरी, जय जय राम कृष्ण हरी.
This is a family, where we share a good relation apart from being professional relationship. Every client somehow becomes a family friend. And this is how the practice, grows like a pilgrimage. I would like to share another apartment which we recently completed. That was like immediately after the COVID, the project. We'll quickly run through that. But in a similar line, that how the interiors can be picked up from different, families, and you always have a new game to play with the new projects coming over. So this was one Marwari family, the Jains. They wanted to have a house simple, and we adapted a language for them which would be more in sync, with the kind of an urban living pattern. The family has 3 generations living together, and somehow we could segregate them from their bedroom locations and all. But we introduce a very soft hues of colors along with those earthy tones. And each one, has and the various elements we picked up to formulate the house, so that they have some games to play, certain board games, and the kind of terraces on the outside, and the selection of, the artwork, and the kind of a furniture we could place, but all in sync with their daily routine life, and the kind of a game of, I call it a game because they have every day some other activity formed, and I found that the way we place the furniture, it rotates, it creates a sort of an opportunity for family to live in a different way. So we had placed a certain layout in a way that the grandfather and the children can come out together. So bonding, was quite critical, and we could not, even the kitchen was left open in the passage, so that the kitchen is not completely cut off. So the person who is cooking into the kitchen is very well connected, with the daily activity where people are moving, and all generations would come together. So if you see the kitchen, which has a little dining table inside as well, and where everybody crosses that little passage, so that, and I find the kitchen is the heart of every house, and how do we really put it in a way that it becomes a kind of a hub for everyone to come together. And what we did is the house had a very, very low height ceiling. So we had no choice. So we created a kind of a reflected mirrored ceiling at the one edge, so that the volume goes a lot more bigger and they can feel, so we could somehow deceive eyes, for people to relate with a more volumetric space rather than suppressed ceiling which comes quite low otherwise. And we introduce a single language of furniture which runs throughout the house. Only few the vertical members would divide screens, otherwise the space is not broken into different parts, and we left the basin, bathroom, bedroom all interconnected. And see, this is how we could do that. And so one side we broke it through the mirror, other side we did curvilinear ceiling. So basically we removed the corner which bothers us when you read the low height of the volume. So, and we added few little cells to create some functional corners to actually work, study. Going to other thing is like, see, this is one room we designed, which is a resort in Pune called Korean Club Resort, and we are asked to do one room which would be multiplied, in more than 100 times. So this was, and this is the kind of a character which this club has already. We are not architects here, but we found this club has a very peculiar character, and we thought, how do we really pick up the interiors which would blend well with the architecture? Because currently they had interiors which is completely contradictory to what architecture says, and I always see that as the interior designers, we need to we cannot simply forget the architecture. So I gave them a theme, and When I saw the building, I don't know, but how many of you have seen the movie Mohenjo-daro? And somehow I felt, that thing. So I took them and I showed them, these little clips of movie and the kind of color schemes to explain them that how you can build a story. And every project, according to me, is a film. You as a director can actually formulate and drive every material or every aspects of design as your characters to do this. So we did this room as an experiment, and I told the clients are well known to us. We had done their house, their own office. So I felt that let's give a try and put the whole house room together. So this was the format which is standard hotel room you get. Now it's a very simple format. How do you actually build the space around and give us experience which people come here for a couple of days to stay? How do you add value to the room which would give an idea is to sell an experience by which people would go back with something very unique in their experience. For instance, and as a designer, what we do, we have anyway no choice. We have a bed, we got some sofa cum bed so that they can add extras, mattress to sleep. And this place is more sold out for the weddings and all. So idea was to have accommodate some extra accommodations so that they can manage. And it's a simple idea, but we introduced the lighting which would give a kind of a wash to the bedside tables. We created some of the characters which you really see in that Mohenjo-daro movie. And the idea is to basically get into that era or that period by which you pass through, but yet put all our contemporary requirements and the kind of facilities which you require in a hotel room. So we created this bed which can get extended into like sitting can extend into the bed. And everything was made, and we finished this project, in a 1 month, including design, execution, and I tell you, these workers, they work throughout, and I tell you, we got a huge set of skills, available to convert, these things. And on the name of industrial design, we think we save time. I tell you, these workers proved that all this crafty work can happen also equally in the record time, without losing the quality, or rather respecting our human touch, to the material which we use. The wood and the plaster of Paris and the kind of integration of the lighting and the character given, to the floor, all that got somehow, and some of the quick sketches got converted very quickly on the side. So these processes are very interesting, to see how the execution goes on site. And I respect all the workers who put their energy on executing. They do not know where we are leading them. As if they are blindfolded, only focusing on one thing, what is in their hand. And we have to somehow take them, into the process. And in the end, you really end up to the to the result, which they also get surprised and they get very happy. Like even the toilet layouts, we experimented with the new toilet layout where the WC is separate, basin is separate, and bathroom is separate, because this is like mostly gone for the weddings. So the whole family come and live into the room, and it should become a little family space. So if there is segregated toilets, which is a very much in Indian culture, where we feel a lot more comfortable to share our rooms. See, the way we share food, on a dining table, we share rooms very comfortably, among our own family members. And if you follow a very Western toilet design, you generally end up, compromising, in your morning time. Wherein in this case, I see that, they got a lot more time quickly to get ready for the wedding and various other elements. And this is how, the room turned out to be. So some of them are rendered images and some of them are actual images, how they appear to be. And they all almost matched because in 1 month, nobody had time to change anything. We had whatever we designed, we just simply had to happen. And see, this was our rendered image and how, the room turned out to be, okay? And rather the actual images looks 10 times better than the rendered images. And I give all credit to the workers who contributed, to this project. Which would also relate, with the people who come, with the the interiors, how the architecture and interior can become a one. So this is one good example which I always been, this was the plot when we received a lot of greenery around. We designed the house with a glass overlooking to the complete green screens. And except some of the elements like this door, which is which we use onyx, on the door, and that the door is basically because we had to cut through the glass wall, so we had to put some element which would highlight. This is a central courtyard. And this was the hobby room created, for a meditation and some of, those activity. Like this is sketch I made, and I tell you, we could get a craftsman to create this floor on the terrace, which is depicting the sun, to celebrate, the connectivity with the sky and the garden around. This is skylight in the middle, which provides, the good ventilation and light into the middle of the house. And then I'll show you one of the project where it's a corporate office interior. So I'll just cover up something which would help interior designers to see the process by which we actually end up doing interiors. This building is also designed by us, and the client, the developers, they had to put their own office. So we created two buildings as a combined property, but one which stands for themselves as their own corporate office, which is cylindrically designed. And the whole periphery of the cylinder was designed as a support to cantilevering terraces. And we envisage as a kind of a branching out tree. Another side where the commercial wing was there, which was meant to sell it out. And we kept, the focus on, for the interiors on this office. So if you see, the terraces are protruding out. The floor plan is almost a rectangle, which covers up, the most of their requirements. So these are all commercial wing. That's the area where people enter in. It becomes a kind of a collaborative zone where people step out from the elevator and staircase, but they are not just a lobby. They act actually as a collaborative space, which houses the reception, the waiting area, the pantry, and toilets. So instead of introducing a separate lobby, we could somehow introduce and made the lobby much more larger, and that became a lot more useful than just a lobby to pass through. And we defined the workspace separately. The buffer zone created by having a meeting room, so that meeting room actually becomes a kind of a connecting space between workspace and the visiting space, so that visitors would enter from one side where the people from the working area would come out and sit there along with the visitors. So the visitors would never penetrate into the work zone. And this becomes, the private zone where the cabins would be there. And we kept the cabins having both side glasses, so even the workspace can see through the cabins. And we added those breakout zones attached to these private zone. And the floor above, had all the executives sitting there. So their cabins and their boardrooms and meeting room would happen. And the section got very interesting as we gave cutouts at all the stages. So all their 4 floors got somehow interconnected with having a atrium in the middle. And this is how the building turned out to be. The idea is that architecturally we could envisage the building, but when we enter in also the spirit of the branching out tree, which was named as the unit tree, reflects in many areas, even in the indoors, like in the floor pattern, in the ceiling, in the furniture. And we designed even the boardroom tables by using architectural hardwares, so that the glass is basically holding those spider fittings blocked, connected with the wood, the block of wood. Even the outdoor spaces were designed to see that they have a good overlooking views and all. And this is office of our own. I would like to share this studio which we designed during the COVID time. It's a COVID baby. And the whole idea when I had to put my own design studio, I come from Gujarat, and I'm sure most of you must be knowing Adalaj Stepwell. And this is my very inspirational space. I mean, I like all stepwells because they, as you go down, as you dig out the earth, go to the well, which is a source of wisdom and knowledge. So if I always relate well, and this is a very beautiful section which struck to me when I was a student. I would go very close to this space at almost every year. And when I was designing my own studio, I don't know how, but subconsciously I could think of those stepwells. And I felt that if I create my own studio with this kind of a space, which is a lot more inspirational, to dig, into our own way of practice and finding wisdom through the character of the place. And this Iiid-Hrc space chapel is very beautiful. I don't know how many of you have been there, but I would suggest that if you've not been there, it's a marvel which exists in India, and we should not ever miss out. So you see here the photograph of Iiid-Hrc, but when I thought of that, I thought I'll use my space as an atrium in the chapel. And you go up, down, connect, various different, and you can see the section, how our office section works. So this is a section which leads and connects all the 3 different levels. And you use the space under the steps also as basement space, which gets naturally lit and ventilated. So the atrium basically acts as a step well, looking and feeding the light and ventilation to all the rooms which are put on the sides. And the step well also acts as a library. So when you are actually there inside, on the step well you have books on both the side to understand or to use that as a library, and you can very casually sit on the steps and read it. Another element we picked up from our traditional building is the jali. Is something which I always admire. When the technology, we didn't have a glass, and we used to use jali to cut the glare, which is quite harsh outside in India, also filters the air and also filters the view. So during daytime, you have good privacy from inside, where you can actually look out very comfortably, like how this picture is, depicts here. So the whole building is wrapped around by having a perforated metal jali, so that from inside you can see through the garden outside, but from outside people cannot see that. And in the evening, we can always draw the curtain, but since this is an office block, we didn't require any specific reason to close those jali. And see, this is how the formation has happened. But if you look at the section here, the section basically shows that we have integrated a evaporative passive cooling system, so that you generate a cool air at the top, and all the level, like there are 4 levels which are interlinked through the shaft on both the side of the atrium, and they supply the cool air by simple gravity. And we put a jali on the periphery, so that what happens that the cool air comes in, creates a positive pressure, and the air simply rushes out or slowly comes out, from the perforated jali. So there is a kind of always a controlled cool temperature inside the office. We have hardly been using air conditioners in our office, though we install only for the meeting rooms, but hardly we use the air conditioners, because we don't require. Only they are used when the humidity is high, and you cannot use evaporative coolers, which happens hardly 10 days a year. And Pune has that way a very good climate, to deal with natural air. And when you pick up the air from the top and filter it, the air is not so contaminated at the top, and it's easy to filter at the top. You can also infuse the aroma into it and also release, the air down into each room. And we created a system by which you can control the air coming into the room. And if you allow air to go down, it will always go down to the basement, and there's a way created for air to escape out. So there's a constant fresh air infused into the entire space. And this is how, the building appears as a complete box of a metal wrapped screen. In the rain, it looks even more interesting. This is our entrance. So primarily it's a concrete block. So interiors also use a simple ply, birch ply, and that's been polished. So all materials are used in the raw format: concrete, and the kadapa stone, the weathered steel, and the wooden doors. And on both the side of the atrium, you have a huge library to accommodate our books and catalogs. And steps are filled with the glass, so that in the basement you see that the light comes down into the basement, so the light penetrates even at the lower floor. And the whole structure is covered with the solar roof on the top. So it's almost like a net zero building. I would say not net zero because we are paying hardly 15% of energy what we are actually using it. All other things, first of all, we have reduced the energy usage. And whatever is being used is somehow well supported by the solar panels. And then the play of light is an all additional charm of the space inside. That's a door to go to the studio. Some of the details of railing, simple details, but it helps. And this is the studio in which our team works. That's a cabin, and then the plants are put, which provide a lot of oxygen inside. So on the outer skin is a metal perforated sheet, the plants, and then the glass inside, wherever it is required. Most of the places there is not even a glass also. And the bird feeder brings a lot of birds when we have breakout spaces, to actually be those with the parrots and the sparrows. This is how the solar roof is covering our top. You see, during daytime people cannot see inside. It looks almost like a solid panel, but only in the evening it opens up. So that's our studio. I'd like to end up, I'll take more 5 minutes. I know we've taken good time, but we can end up, this is my own home, which I thought I'd like to share, having many friends here and not been able to invite them so far, so that I can bring that here. But this is my own home, which we built almost 15 years back. And it's like, so the interiors again, there are 2 rolling shutters put on both the side. Like, so in the morning we open our showroom to live inside, and the night we just roll down the 2 shutters. So in the daytime we have like a room extends right to the compound wall on back side and the front side. So we live in almost through open space. So if you look at that the hall is fully open. So number 12 and number 13 are the outdoor spaces, which are verandas, and we have 2 rolling shutters, where number 12 and number 13 is written. And the daytime we simply celebrate, these open spaces as a part of. So this was the concept by which we designed the house. This is the first floor plan. This is the section. And we use this first floor, all the walls like a flap, extended beyond the basic body, and that allows light. Even on the floor we put a light there. On the wall, on the gap between the main block and the flap, there's a window there. So we could create a very good slits, and our view is always opening towards where the greenery is there. So you're not looking right into the neighboring house. Though we didn't have any view because there are many other houses around, idea was to open where actually we get a light, cross ventilation, and the view where the greenery is there. So our all openings are opening into the side margins, and this is the view, you see how it gets. So it's fully open. We put a water body here on the western side, and the house is completely open between two rolling shutters. And rolling shutters get hidden underneath, and this is how, you know, the space actually looks. I would like to, so my house has a little story to share, and which I would like to end up with this presentation. So this is what my house is speaking, okay, because I could not bring my house here. So the house says, take me over there to all your friends and let me narrate myself. So this is the small movie myself with one of our intern. We made this movie where we were succumbed to the condition during the COVID. So all this movie shot we did on my iPhone. So now we just simply listen what my house has, you know, to share with you. Thank you. Thank you. This is a tribute to Doshi sir and all our fellow travelers been helping us, to grow and cherish our profession, which is so beautiful. Thank you very much. So I think it's time to wind up. It's quite late. But if you have any questions, we can always intermingle, during the dinner. Feel free and give me an opportunity to have more friends around. Thank you.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our special guest and keynote speaker, renowned architect Manish Bankar of the award-winning practice Tau Architecture Private Limited, Pune. Wow, that was simply fabulous, sir. Thank you, sir, for the inspiring presentation and for sharing important insights from rich experience. A big round of applause for architect Manish Bankar. Now it's time for the question answers. So for this, can I call upon stage? I would like to call upon stage architect Pallavi Anchuri, chairperson. For facilitation, but anyone wants to ask any questions? So, okay, then we'll move on to the felicitation. On this note, I would like to call upon the stage architect Pallavi Anchuri, chairperson, Iiid-Hrc, with your big applause, and architect Sarosh H. Wadia, IID national president, with your big applause, and architect Shamini Shankar Jain, IIID honorary secretary, and also the past chairman of Iiid-Hrc. Welcome, ma'am. And architect Manoj Wahiji, IPC. Please, sir.
Can you invite Regina, my wife, on the stage?
Okay, I'd like to invite Mrs. Regina on the stage, please, with your big applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'ams. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the spectacular evening and had a great time. To conclude the fellowship meet, I would like to invite Architect Naveen Kumar Chalasani, Honorary Secretary, Iiid-Hrc, to give the vote of thanks. Welcome him with your big applause.
On behalf of Iiid-Hrc family, it is my honor to give the vote of thanks. I would like to thank our keynote speaker, Architect Manish Mankar, for accepting our invitation and sharing his amazing journey. It was a very wonderful presentation, sir. I would like to extend our gratitude to our chief guest, Architect Sarosh H. Wadi, IID President. Thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you, Architect Shamini Shankar Jain, IID Honorable Secretary, our guest of honor, for gracing this evening. I would like to thank everyone here, and I would like to thank our all Iiid-Hrc past chairs and senior members for their support. Our evening could not have been possible without the support of our sponsors, Beyond Lighting and Artistics. And also I would like to thank our all IID members and also the institute heads for being here. Thank you, everyone. Please join us for the dinner.